Welcome back, and as you guys can see, we have the Cruze in another video. I figured since the car's been sitting for so long, it'd be the perfect time to make a Cheetah Wrap review video. If you guys remember how this car was back in its prime, the red window tint is pretty much faded away. Like the back glass is pretty much like a silver now. But this car is just filled of gunk. And I will just say this car is well in need of a rewrap and just a refinish overall. I've been meaning to make this video for a little while now, and I figured since this is one of the very last nice days in Ohio, because last week it was snowing, today and tomorrow it's just a little bit of rain. But after that, I think it goes back to snow for the rest of the week. So I'm gonna give this thing a wash and we can fully go over the vinyl wrap. So the car is now washed and it looks so much better now, but it's still not perfect. It's that time of year though where the sun starts going down at like 5 o'clock. So we're gonna get this thing in the garage and try out the new lights that you guys saw in the last video. It's pretty crazy seeing all the cars in the garage. I don't think I've seen the 3 cars in here since we've redone this garage. This car is wrapped in gloss sandstorm from Cheetah Wrap. Back in 2020, I originally had Vivid's color that was just like this, and it honestly sucked. Maybe it was just my first time using it, I don't know, but then 2021 is when I switched to using this Cheetah Wrap. As far as fading, I haven't really noticed anything at all. Nothing like you'd see compared to like a red or a green or like a bright color like that where you'd really notice it. This color still has the shine that I remember it having. It might be a little bit more dull, but nothing that I can physically notice. Just for like a really good comparison, this bumper was re-wrapped probably about a year ago compared to this fender from the original wrap. Obviously, this looks a little darker, but this was from a different batch. And if you guys know vinyl wrap, just because you order the same color does not mean it comes from out of like the same roll. So it could always be slightly different when you match it up like this. And on the spot I was showing you guys earlier, I don't notice any roughness or anything of that sort. I saw in a couple other videos that like the vinyl had like a texture to it. I'm not too sure what that was about. Maybe it just needed clay barred. Not too sure, but just a quick little wash. This vinyl has no issues. And all the gunk you guys saw earlier is gone. But the one thing I can tell you guys about a light colored vinyl wrap, this isn't necessarily towards Cheetah Wrap. This is more just all vinyl. I'm pretty much out here just exposing myself at this point with this car with all the flaws. But I don't care, I want to show you guys how this vinyl has held up over the last 3 years. Now this one is going to be extremely hard to see on camera, but in person you can see it pretty well. But there's stains going down. It's really hard to tell in this camera. But it's basically like just streaks and there's stain. There's no getting it out. You might be able to polish it. You can kind of polish wrap, which might end up removing some of these stains. But realistically, these are not coming out, and this is a problem with most light colored vinyls. So with that part being said, obviously this car was not ceramic coated, which if it was, I may have been able to add a couple years or months longer onto this vinyl and it would have held up a lot better. So my Genesis over here was wrapped about 2 years ago in Cheetah Wrap gloss black, and this was a ceramic coated, and it's gonna be hard to tell. It's obviously very dirty, but it added a little bit more gloss and shine. Since I did have a couple issues with some stains, some scratches when I first did this, I redid a lot of those panels and got the whole thing ceramic coated. And since then, I've not had stain issues. I've not seen as many scratches. So the next point I really want to hit on is any peeling or lifts or any sort of like flaws as far as like not sticking with the adhesive. And this, keep in mind, was probably the second car I've ever wrapped, so it may not be perfect or good, but the thing lasted. It does have some rock chips here and there in the vinyl, which, I mean, it's bound to happen. Here's an edge, for example, and there's zero lifting on it. Inside here, there's zero lifting. The only problem, which is not on the vinyl, which you'll see on a lot of vinyl wrap cars, is high tension points, which right here you can see that it is peeling and kind of wrinkling. This is basically from this wing being so tight and the vibrations of the car shaking, and it kind of just gives it like a rocking back and forth, which will cause stuff like this. and it's mainly just on my wing. That's the only spot you'll see this, and maybe a little bit down here where like the fitment's tight. Just to give you guys an example, my headlight on the Genesis is doing the exact same thing. It's just from vibrations and pushing it. I think my car is being taken over by spiders because this is like the 5th one I've seen on this car. If that shows you how much this car has been just sitting outside neglected, they're taking over my car. There's nothing else I can do. It's now their car. And for all you guys that are probably watching this video and are like, why is the side skirt hanging on the ground? I used 3M tape, and when this car was sitting outside for the last few months, it fell off, and I've just never put it back on, I'm gonna be honest with you. But I think I found a better way that I'm gonna make a video on in the future. Now I could really nitpick this vinyl and show you guys all kinds of flaws, maybe for install over the years, but what it really comes down to, overall, this vinyl has held up pretty good compared to some of my friends' cars or other cars I've seen online, especially since this car has been sitting outside for probably the last year and a half, maybe 2 years now. For this vinyl to only be about $400, $500 at most, I think, anymore, it holds up pretty good. I have zero complaints really, especially since I've installed this myself, and there really wasn't too many install errors on this or failure for over time just peeling up. I never really had to deal with any of that, and so I would assume if you had like a real shop put it on, it would really get rid of any kind of like issue with that. I feel like this kind of really shows that if you kind of take your time and have a proper install, whether you pay someone or you're doing it yourself, that this vinyl will last, even though it's one of the cheaper options on the market, because there's plenty other brands that are more expensive. And vinyl wrap is not meant to be a permanent thing. It's only meant to be for like 3 to 5 years. So for this still being in this decent condition and being abused outside, I would have to say that Cheetah Wrap's a pretty good brand to have if you're wanting something for a couple years. By no means I'm not saying that this is the best vinyl or that it lasts the longest. Hopefully this video helps some of you guys that are on the fence about going with Cheetah Wrap or another brand. I've had decent luck. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you guys are new. Thank you guys for watching today's video, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.